Big Gamer out here. How are you guys doing today? I'm super. Thanks for asking. So with the Nintendo Switch now announced, everyone's hyped. Everyone's talking about the launch lineup of games, taking their games on the go, and all that good stuff. But there's one negative thing that keeps coming back in all Nintendo fans' minds, and that is the talk of raw power that the Switch has. And I'm here today, guys, to tell you, don't worry about it. I'm going to break it all down for you guys, and by the end of this video, hopefully you'll understand why the power in the Switch will be more than enough to tackle the latest games. So let's start with what's actually inside Nintendo Switch. So we know it's a Tegra chip, we know it's being produced by Nvidia, it will have custom APIs, and it will be either an extension of Tegra 1 or it will be a Tegra 2 unit. Now, what does this mean power-wise? Well, most of the industry experts, and I do believe they're probably pretty accurate with this by this point, with the console only being a couple of months away, in its mobile form will be outputting somewhere in the region of 0.9 teraflops to 1.2 teraflops. And there's a possibility that this could be given a little bit more headway when you put it into its dock, and might even go as far as 1.5 teraflops. So with all the talk of Scorpio going around on PS4 Pro, and 4 teraflops and 6 teraflops and all the rest of this, you guys are probably listening to that and thinking, God, that sounds awfully low. But let me explain this to you guys. First of all, I want to talk about the dock. Basically, when you've got a graphics card, you have the ability to overclock a graphics card by giving it extra voltage from the mains and increasing the speed in which it is processing. Now, this can give you extra teraflops, which is basically just another way of saying extra processing power. Now, putting it in its dock should enable it to get a little bit of extra juice, and this is what they're saying will help us run games at higher frame rates at 1080p when it's actually on your TV. So do not worry about hearing things like Nintendo Switch is 720p and all the rest of that. That is when it is in tablet form. Right, so let's go back to those teraflops. Now, currently, the Xbox One has about 1.3 teraflops of power. Now, every developer has to think about the Xbox One installer base when they create a new title. So you're not going to create a Dishonored 2 or Battlefield 1 without it being able to run very well on that 1.3 teraflop console. Now, all PC hardware is scalable, and with the Xbox One, that's actually trying to put out a minimum of 1080p most of the time, sometimes 900p and all the rest of it. But it's always trying, every developer is trying to optimize somewhere towards 1080p 60 frames a second. So, worst case scenario, you're dealing with 0.9 teraflops on the Switch. You're very close to that benchmark already. And with PC hardware being scalable and these games already being developed for PCs that aren't as powerful as Xbox One, and trying to get them to run at lower frame rates set on low settings, these games will run. But don't worry guys, on the Switch you will not be getting an inferior experience, and that is down to the display itself. Now, if you were running a PC game on high settings, it's going to take a lot more of those teraflops to run that at a 1080p or 1440p monitor than it will a 720p monitor. And what you've got to remember guys is, most of the time you're going to be playing this in tablet form at 720p. And if you are going to play on a TV, you're going to have the extra juice from that voltage. So let's go back to the 720p a second, guys. Now, 720p is twice as many pixels as standard definition. Do you know what else was standard definition? The Wii U gamepad. The Wii U gamepad outputted games that looked fantastic. You look at Bayonetta 2 or Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U gamepad, those games look amazing. They look like they could be on a 1440p computer monitor because it's shrunk down to 6.2 inches. Now, one important thing with image quality is it's a lot to do with the pixel density and the distance you are away from the display device. So with something like a tablet, you're close to it and the pixel density is very, very tight. So therefore, you're going to get very, very high image quality. And a tablet of this screen quality at 720p, that close to your face, guys, is going to be processing an image. It's going to be sending an image. Your brain is going to think this is going to be looking as good as any 1080p TV you've got in your living room, because you're 6, 8, 10 feet away from that TV. Now, not only that, but you've also got the extra headroom. You've got the extra headroom because you're trying to output a 720p. Now, with the Xbox One at 1.3 teraflops, it's having a much harder time trying to hit a 1080p display than this Switch is trying to put out the same game at 720p. Don't worry, guys. The next round of Frostbite games or Unreal Engine 4 games, they're going to run just fine on the Nintendo Switch. Now, let's talk about 1080p. It's 2.1 million pixels, right? Not the 0.9 million pixels that 720p is. So you're talking about twice as many pixels, more than twice as many pixels to be rendered. So that's going to give you a lot of extra overhead. So while you've got your Xbox One S's and your Xbox Scorpios and your PS4 Pros trying to chase that 4K dream and struggling and failing. I'm telling you now, guys, they're not even putting out a native 4K resolution. And when the Scorpio does come and tries to put out a native 4K resolution with like 6 teraflops, trust me, guys, they're going to struggle. The frame rates aren't going to be the best, and they're going to have to scale back some of those graphics features. In the meantime, the Switch will be running the same games, just absolutely fine on its tablet form, because it's not having to render a ridiculous amount more, like 8-10 times as many pixels. It just doesn't have to do that, because the display quality and the distance it is from your eyes and the density of the pixels will make those games look great. One last thing I think that's worth mentioning is over half of all big titles are still being optimized first, and namely for Nvidia hardware. And all titles, you've got to understand at this point, guys, are being developed first on PCs. So if Nvidia's given them the game tools to optimize it first for Nvidia, those benefits will actually come to the Switch, because this is Nvidia hardware. So you'll probably get a little bit better optimization. Especially AMD's optimization tends to come and actually outshine Nvidia, but in several months after release. Now, with a console, with a closed platform, other than your initial set of patches and the released state of the game, you're getting all of that optimization right away. And all those AMD based consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, won't ever see that, because they're not PCs. The game will not be getting updated 7, 8, 10, 12 months down the line. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to give my 10 cents on the matter. I hope you like this video. If you want to hear more about Nintendo Switch, if you want more videos like this, feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.